Home Life. It's Home Plus Life Podcast.
We're back.
And I'm sitting on my squeaky chair.
Yes, you are. That's because we kind of haven't set up the podcast space fully yet.
No, we haven't, but that's because we've moved HQ.
Yep. Everything's moved.
Moved home.
Yep. Home, office. That's why we missed an episode last week. So anyone who was looking for the new episode last week, apologies. We were in the midst of moving just way too much crap.
Look, I remember when we first got together and you were like, you live such a minimalistic way. I don't know if I could handle it. And I was looking around going, it's not minimalistic. I've got things out of necessity.
Yeah.
And I had everything in its place. Everything was in order. I did not hoard stuff because I just looked at it and was like, how is this going to add to my life? And then I went to your place and there was stuff everywhere and I felt claustrophobic. I felt the walls were coming in. And then I go home and it's like, oh, look at those walls. I can see all of the walls.
Yeah, that was my little trauma response. I couldn't give up anything. I did. Like, everything had some sort of sentimental value. If it didn't have sentimental value, it was money was spent on this and I must respect it. Like, wow, that's my parents coming through my own mouth right there.
Whereas now I feel that you've taken my approach where it's, hold on, when was the last time I used this? Am I holding on to this just for what why am I holding
it's not even that,
this?
to be honest with you. Yes, there's the why am I holding on to this, but, there's obviously there's a lot of stuff we haven't talked about on the podcast. The last 12, 18 months has been a pretty heavy-duty battleground external of us and pretty chaotic. Along with the businesses and working hard there. We've had personal challenges, all that sort of stuff, outside of our relationship, of course. And I reached a point about mid-December, and I think it was after the road trip down to Adelaide and coming back, and I reached that point where I just went, I'm so done with all the distractions. Like, I have goals. There's a mission here. I want to achieve that mission, and if I'm going to do that, there can't be any distractions. So everything in my world is either moving me forward towards that mission or it's distracting me from it. And if it's a distraction, I don't want it anymore. And so obviously went through a cull before the move in December and in the lead up to Christmas and so forth. And then over Christmas again, went through another cull and then just moving. I don't know. It just, all these things kind of, I guess, you don't realize you've got them. And then you start unpacking packing things and pulling stuff off shelves and moving things out of the way. And you find these things and you're like, why do I even have that? Like, it's not moving me forward. It's not helping me. It's not doing anything for me. It's just sitting there. Why have I held on to it? Well, I've held on to it due to some misguided sentimentality, or I've held on to it because in the back of my head is mum's voice or dad's voice going, you can't throw that out. You spent money on it, and so I'm hot, but it doesn't serve me anymore. It was bought for a purpose at the time for a reason. Sometimes those reasons were emotional, but it doesn't serve me anymore. And therefore, if it's not serving me, it's holding me back and it's just clutter. So I started getting rid of a whole heap of stuff and I became very, very ruthless about what I wanted to take forward. And even still, I reckon I've got too much stuff. I've reached that point where I think as a household, we've got too much.
Everything that I have purchased, and you've seen so my whole thing is I can walk into a store and be like, I need this and I need this and I need this and I need this, and I can guarantee there would be 10 things on that list that I would say that I needed or that I wanted.
And you'll come home with two of them if you're lucky.
Yeah, I can walk out of that store with nothing purely because I just go, but do I really need it?
And this is where we're a foil for each other, because if I'm in the store with her, I'll be going, no, you do actually need it because you're going in like the jacket in Anaconda. You're going into an area where it's going to be 1 degree or less. There could be snow. It could be raining. This jacket ticks all of those boxes and you don't have anything that's going to keep you warm. So you do need it. And it still took you, like, you hummed and hard. Whereas I would walk into a store and I'd go, I want it. I can create an argument as to why I need it. It's a flimsy argument, but there's no one here to beat me in that argument, so I'll buy it.
Do you know what? If it was for anyone else, anyone else.
Oh, yeah, you'd be all over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be like, yep, not a problem.
Yep, absolutely. There's your trauma response.
Well, like, okay.
Retail makes so much money out of trauma.
I had no problems in going and spending like $60 for herbs. And what else did I get? Oh, soil and a couple of other things to go and because
But you won't do it on clothes.
No, I won't spend. I won't spend it on clothes for myself.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Look how many battles it was for you to actually, for me to go, okay, I really do need to go and get new bras. You were like, seriously? Like, really? Do I, like, I showed him, and there's plenty of mums out there, that there was an underwire that had actually snapped in two, and I'm like, haha, look at this, and I'm like wiggling it around.
And then putting it on. And then putting it on. And I'm like, what are you doing? No.
He's like, I think it's time that you go and get new bras.
We are not broke. Like we do not need to walk around in dilapidated underwear. Like, no, we have the money to buy new underwear. Go and buy it.
Underwear, like, it's fine that you go and splurge on underwear. But yeah, no, even then,
it was a battle. But yeah, so I mean, but I think I got like we got one of the massive big moving trucks, and I think we did 4 or 5 loads in it, and it was load 3 or 4 where we had Steve, my business partner and good friend, up, and he was recording some stuff for Market Buy. And so we kind of roped him into helping us because we knew he was up here. He was using our podcast studio to record the trainings and stuff. And so we're like, you can come help us move. And I turned to him in one of the loads we're doing, and I've gone, next time we move, I'm piling 90% of our belongings up in the yard and setting it all on fire. I'm not moving this shit ever again.
Look, and I have said to you, next time that we move, we will get professionals where we can just box it up and just be like, this is going there.
I'll pack the office because I don't trust anyone to look after the equipment.
But everything else we can definitely do.
Moving sucks. Moving sucks so hard.
Well, I just
the only time that I think I would really look forward to moving is if we were moving into like our dream home, like we'd built it or we'd finally found it and we'd gone and purchased it and we're ticking down the days to settlement where they hand over the keys, and like there's that level of excitement. Like if you're moving just to move, and you know whether like you're not excited about, you've just got to move for whatever reason. Right, whether it's moving for work or it's moving because your lease is up, whether it's moving because, you know, you're going to do renovations and this, whatever it is.
Or your family is getting bigger.
Family's going to be, if it's like you're not excited about it, it's not that next step. It's you have to. I think it's such a chore.
Yeah.
And it's so horrible. But at the same time too, like that's where, you know, helping you decide whether or not you're going to move, getting that information to know whether or not it's the right decision for you is probably the best thing, which of course is one of the many reasons that I created checkmyhouseprice.com.au and .co.nz in New Zealand. Hopefully we're in the US soon too, for homeowners to become fully informed with that free house price report.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. And if you're going to undertake the move, at least you know you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in a fully informed fashion, because moving sucks.
Yes. So, and this is one thing that I thought we could definitely talk about in relation to moving and why, like what things you need to really take into consideration.
Yeah, I like this. This could cause some friction because there were some moments where, you know, it.
I'm not going to. I have nothing to hide in this regards. He did do a little bit of a runaway.
I did. I got in the car. So all right, let me paint the picture. I did. I didn't go. I'm out. I said I'm just not coming home. But so what happened? We moved to a place. The yard's not secure for the dog, and we got a beautiful little blue staffy named Lulu, and it wasn't secure. And the plan that had been discussed was we'll move her once it's secure. We'll have it secure in a day or two. And we hadn't secured it. And so I'm somewhere in the house, setting things, moving boxes, trying to figure stuff out and start sorting stuff. And suddenly Lulu's here. And I'm going, WTF.
Yes, but I had
and then
a conversation with Steve. Yes,
but Steve doesn't live here. You see, I'm the one you need to have the conversation with. And I've yelled out from wherever I was, the yard's not secure. And I get this reply back going, yes, Jay, I'll secure it. And I've gone, oh, I know how this is going to go. Less than 3 hours later, Lulu has busted out of the yard through one of the gaps that had been highlighted 3 days before as we were, pointing out and going, this is what needs to be secured, this here, and so forth. And she's busted out. Now, thankfully, she busted out because she just wanted to come hang with the kids who were in the cul-de-sac. Like, our kids were all in the cul-de-sac and that. And I'm just like, less than 3 hours.
It's also because she was also already anxious.
She was anxious because she'd been at the other place by herself for 3-4 days with, she knew stuff was going on. And I understand all that. But no one had had this convo with me. And none of it, parts had been secured, but it hadn't been fully secured. Lulu jumps out. She gets out, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm like, that's it. I can't do this. Because it was about the 6th or 7th thing in 2 days where I'd gone, this is what we need to take into account, and it hadn't been taken into account, and exactly what I'd said was going to happen if we didn't take into account had happened. And I'm like, I need to get out of here before I rack up a body count. I'm furious. I'm annoyed. I jumped in the car, went for a drive. I've gone for a drive down, I like to go down by the water and just chill out, calm down, exhale. I'm gone for about an hour and a bit. I come back, and I look at where Lulu had got out, and it's been secured by placing garbage bins in front of it. So a completely temporary solution. And I acknowledge it's a temporary solution, but now the garbage bins are inside the gate, which means in order to take the rubbish out, somebody's got to do more work.
We were aware of this.
I know you were aware of it, but it just triggered me again. Okay, I backed into the driveway, and I've looked at it and gone, so we didn't secure it properly in the first place. We've now put a temporary solution in place that's going to cause other people to have to do more work to do their jobs, i.e. taking it all out, rather than just getting the chicken wire that was in the shed and fixing it up. Nope, I'm done. And I just drove. I went, I can't walk. If I walk into this house, I'm going to lose my shit. And so I drove,
so I think
went to the pub, had a beer, had a burger, and calmed down.
So communication, I think, is a definite thing.
Oh, yeah, if it had been communicated, if I'd even had a phone call to go, hey, I'm bringing Lulu back, could you start to secure the yard? I would have gone, yep, give me 10 minutes, and I'll go and do it. I'll finish whatever task I'm on.
You were actually laying on the bed, and there wasn't a message. I said it to you when I was leaving to go and pick up.
No,
kids.
You didn't. You didn't tell me you were picking up Lulu at all. Otherwise, I would have gone and secured shit because I knew it wasn't secure. There was no, hey, I'm going to go pick up Lulu.
Show me the message and then we'll talk. Anyway, so back to, because I can tell you right now, there was no message.
No, I'm saying you never told me you were picking up Lulu.
No, you just said earlier that you got it in a message that Lulu was coming. There was no message.
No, I didn't. I said you had come here and I heard Lulu, and I said...
You yelled it from the bedroom.
I yelled it from the bedroom because I was working in the bedroom. No, I said the yard's not secure.
Anyway,
she was already back here.
I'm not having this argument.
She was already back here. It was already too late.
Podcast. Okay, so first thing, always start moving early. This is the top 10 tips. Always start early. So this is coming from a Relocation Services Australia. So what they're saying is start to look early at, like not just where you're going to move, because you should be doing that anyway, but when you have made that decision that the move is going to be happening. Yeah, so go and start to dismantle things like your outdoor furniture that you're going to be taking,
beds, mattress on the floor will suit.
Yeah, all of the really bulky stuff, start to take that apart, because that will be the first things that removalists will want to take is the bulky stuff.
And watch the kids. One thing that was a massive, massive trigger for me in this move is once we'd moved all the really bulky stuff, like your furniture and fridges and stuff like that, we then went to start doing the smaller stuff. And I fully expected it all to be in boxes. But so much of the kids' stuff was just loose. And it's really hard to pack loose shit. And I was like, what's going on here? I thought the kids had been packing up.
Their calendar will be your friend. So what you want to do is have like a communal calendar where everyone is aware as to when things have to be packed.
Yep.
So, week of moving day, what you want to do is have it so at the beginning of that week, that's when you go to the kids, if you have any, or you say to yourself, right, I'm going to pack up or go through all of the little knick-knacky stuff that I've got around.
Wrap it, pack it, box it, whatever.
Look at the stuff that you absolutely need in order to live. So kitchen's probably going to be one of the last things that you actually really pack up. You would be surprised how long you can live on toasties.
Or Uber Eats these days.
Yeah.
I do not want to look at the Uber Eats bill for this move.
So toasties, I cannot, were a godsend. Even last night when we had a massive day of unpacking and organising the house, I was like, okay, Jaffles it is.
Yep.
So that's what the kids had. So if you don't have a toasty maker, I
invest in one.
They're
a really
get them
good.
For $25 from Kmart.
I'm sure we can probably provide an Amazon link or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
They're a godsend. A slow cook's a godsend if you're moving in winter because you can put something on in the morning, go and work all day, come back and the meal's ready at the end of the day.
Yeah. So slow cook as well. The only thing with slow cook is that you need somewhere to prepare it. Whereas with the toasty maker,
you can make it in the moment.
You can make it quite easily.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the week, get the kids to pack up the bedroom.
Yeah.
Get them to live out a suitcase.
Yeah.
So if you can live out of a suitcase, you'll be good.
Yeah, it's a holiday for that first week anyway, really. You're treating it the same way.
Make sure that you have your toiletries, first aid kit. Make sure you have a first aid
Undies.
kit.
Yeah, our first aid kit got used well and truly.
Yes.
Not for anything major, just there were constant nicks and scrapes and cuts and blood and
it's just making sure that you know where the bait and also tools. Make sure that you've got your toolbox and it's all good because you never know when you need a hammer or an Allen key.
An Allen key. Oh my! I found the Allen keys after I'd fixed the bike. I went and found the specific Allen key, the yellow and black Stanley Allen key folding thing that I'd like. That's like a pocket knife. It's got like a whole bunch of different Allen keys. Found it literally 6 hours after I'd found another one randomly to fix the Paxton's bike.
The next thing that they suggest is making sure that you have walked through enough times that you can go, all right, this particular piece of furniture goes there, this particular furniture goes there. Make sure you get measurements.
So you've got a delivery plan when it gets to the other end, you're offloading off the truck. And that was huge. That be prepared, that'll change. So our fridge nearly killed me, or one of our fridges. We've got two fridges and we've had one that's sort of been down in the garage for the longest time. And it was the check my house price fridge, to be honest. Like it was the check my office fridge and drinks fridge and so forth. And we were going to put that down in the office. But the fridge that we've got for the household is too big for the space upstairs where it's meant to be. And when we moved it out of the old place, we kind of looked at each other because it took three of us to move it on a trolley. And we looked at each other and went, there's no way in hell we're taking this up the stairs. Like it won't fit up the internal stairs. If it fits up the external stairs, it's going to be murder. And as it was, like we ended up taking the smaller check my fridge up and putting it up there. And that fridge nearly killed me. Like, because I was the one pulling it, like I was the one behind it pulling it up the stairs while the other guys were stabilizing. And we got up to the landing there. And we're trying to turn it, but at the same time, we've got to bring it up so that rather than leaning back, it's up because of the space is like the fridge is literally pushing me back into the railing and almost over.
Around.
And I'm having flashbacks because my brother-in-law fell off a railing a few years back before, he ended up competing in strongman. He fractured his spine, did a whole lot of damage to his spine. It's a miracle that he's walking, let alone competing at Australia.
From someone else's trauma.
Because he ended up competing in strongman with me, right? As he started to heal, he's competing at Australia's Strongest as a master in the coming week.
Back to the move.
But so I'm there with this fridge pinning me against this railing, having flashbacks to what had happened to Mitch, and at the same time, my sister's voice in my head sitting there going, "Well, my husband fell off a balcony and survived," and I'm going, "I'm not surviving this fall." Right?
So part of the moving into the new house, making sure that you've got your tools and everything close by. They say 3 weeks out, this is when you need to start to get the life administration stuff done.
Oh, life admin sucks.
Your electoral office, letting them know the new address, updating your license, car registration. Well, here in Queensland, it's
I get emailed my car rego.
and then if you've got mail, need to have it redirected. Then you've got your family medical stuff, so updating Medicare, updating your doctors.
Suppose I should do all that, eh?
Yeah, you really should. I've already done it, notifying school, and then also if you have any medical professionals, updating them. And your prescriptions, make sure that you have your prescriptions close by just in case, because there's nothing worse. And I can talk from experience going, crap, where's my medication? I thought it was here, but it's not. Oh no. So yeah, make sure you've got that all organised. Always, I found having a Tupperware box where everything gets put so that that's where it is.
We move that Tupperware box, and when it gets to the new place, it goes to a specific spot that no one else is going to.
Fridge.
Yeah, like
it's
always there.
The
so
fridge.
You always know all medical stuff. It's either above the fridge, or if it's personal medical stuff, it's in your bedside table.
Yep.
And they're some of the first things to be moved along with the bed.
2 weeks out, start using up food in the freezer and the pantry.
Yep, we did that well.
Yeah, we definitely did that one. A week before the move, book cleaners. Well, I was the cleaner. I did it.
Did a fantastic job.
Yeah, thank you. And arrange final readings of the gas, electricity meters, and start to organise the connections for the
That's
new
when we got caught.
address.
So like we had we enlisted one of those services that, like the Connect services or whatever, where they'll go and connect all the new stuff for you and transfer it all over to the new place. And that was really, really good. But like, I still haven't got a call back from their internet connectivity people. And so as a result of that, we just ended up staying with who we were with, and I rang them and moved that across. But the power all moved across. So the power was on from the day that we were able to move in. So once we had the keys, the power was already on for us.
Yeah.
It did take, like, you rang up to cancel the old electricity account. They're like, it takes 3 days.
3 business days, not 3 days, 3 business days.
Yeah, sounds like an extra money maker.
So the next one is get down to cluttering. So everything that you have, you want to have pass through your hands so that you can go, yes, I want it, no, I don't.
Yep.
And
that happened fairly well, I felt.
Yeah. Be ruthless when it comes to it. You have to look at it and go, do I genuinely need this?
And I think on that note, the ruthlessness develops in stages. Like, I've done 2 or 3 culls over the last 6 to 8 weeks of clothes and belongings and stuff, and I'm looking at stuff now, doing another cull as we unpack and everything like that.
Yeah, no, I've been doing that as well.
And I think that if you've been like me, where you have collected a whole lot of stuff and kept stuff because of either, hey, I paid money for that, or it's sentimental, whatever, I think it takes stages to become more and more ruthless, because you go through that, oh, no, I can get, like, there's stuff that's easy to get rid of. Oh, yeah, I can get rid of that. Don't want that, right? And then the next level...
How did this even come here?
Exactly.
This should have been thrown
You get to that next level and you're like, I could wear that again, or I could use that again. And so you're starting to sit on that fence, right? But then you toss it, and that's a huge sort of stepping stone. And then you get to that third level where you're like, yeah, I haven't used that in 6 months, get rid of it, Yeah,
no, I'm like that anyway. I've just made it my habit.
Yeah, and that's I guess that's what you're doing. You're making it a habit. You're making it a new behavior, because the old behavior has always been holding on.
I'm
talking the journey of someone who's moving from my place, darling, not yours.
Yes, okay, because I'm like, I was already like that.
No.
The next thing
I meant the collective view.
Invest in good boxes. Now, we were lucky enough that we went on to Marketplace, and because I had purchased previously on Marketplace, I was a lot more, hold on, how sturdy do these things look?
Yeah.
And so where we ended up buying them from was...
Someone had just completed a move.
Yeah, they just completed a move themselves, and it was $40 and for a whole heap of them.
Yeah.
And I can't really say that there was any boxes there that I was like, crap, we need to
used
get
them
rid
all.
of that.
They were all really good boxes. I think the biggest issue we had is we didn't have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have gone and got more.
Yeah. Pack by weight.
Yeah, heavy stuff at the bottom.
So, and clearly marking things. Oh my God. It infuriated me. The first night that we moved in, because we had so many people helping us move, they all crashed with us. So there was children.
There were bodies everywhere.
There was 3 children. There was my nephew. There was business partner. There was a cousin. And so we had multiple bodies that we were needing to bed. And For the life of me, I could not find the linen. Now, I asked the kids to pack the linen box. They didn't mark it. There were so many things that they didn't mark. I am still going through random boxes and going, oh, look, there's a towel. Because naturally that's where you would put a towel, would just be randomly with some books or randomly with some toys.
I can understand a towel being used randomly because you can use a towel to stuff things in to prevent movement.
Not when you knew that the linen cupboard was completely stocked and all good to go.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? So, towels go with DVDs naturally.
Yeah, that one's a bit like DVDs have got their own cases and protection.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the reason why I'm like, what? Where's all of my linen?
And this comes back to my earlier comment of watch the kids because they might be packing it and they might even they might even know how to play Tetris, but they have no idea how to pack up a house. At the end of the day,
they were helping us.
They were very helpful.
They did the best to their ability.
They did, but. Yeah, they need more guidance.
If you have the luxury of outsourcing your packaging, then do it.
Outsource everything, except for the computing gear. Always look after your own computing gear.
And then keep your must-haves close.
Yes.
So clothes, obviously.
Phones, chargers.
Chargers, medication.
Laptops
pet
for work
stuff. So if you pet food and everything like that, kids supply like school stuff. Make sure they've got their uniform,
beer, ice.
Make sure that they've got their shoes. Make sure they've got socks.
Yeah.
That's cute of them. They've got speed up the process. Oh, okay. So they're like essentially just saying, make sure that if you have everything packed and ready to go, it will be easier for removalists to come through.
It'll be easier.
Yeah.
It'll be easier. But yeah, it's...
The next one we've already covered, which is stick to simple meals. Yeah. So slow cooks, if you have the ability of
slow
prepping
cooks,
them.
jaffles, canned spaghetti on toast. I know it's not fancy and there's a lot of people cringing at the thought, but look, at the end of the day, it's calories in. And for us... This was probably one of the most exhausting moves. I think it was the most exhausting move ever.
We went from
it took us a week.
Low set to a
two-story. But even just the amount of stuff, because we're that blended family where like two households came into one and like we kind of each moved our own house into that one house as we came together. And this is the first time we've sort of moved that blended household as one entity. And obviously there's a lot of stuff here, but and I think the high set definitely played a part in it. I think the humidity played a massive part. I would never, if I get a choice, I will not move at that time of year again in that level of heat and humidity.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
The next one is, and this is funny that they've actually highlighted this. So unpack straight away, right? The one thing that they've highlighted, unpacking bed linen should be your first priority. It would have been great if I could have found it.
Yeah.
So making sure that you flatten your empty boxes and store them, because I can tell you right now, even though I spent $40 on the boxes that I bought, the move, I'm going to be selling them again.
Yeah. Oh, they're still in great nick.
They're still in great nick
for the most part, yeah.
And given the fact that, at the end of the day, there's always, if you can go, we managed to move a 5-bedroom house with these amount of boxes, I can tell you right now, for $40, someone's going to go, yeehaw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is one that could work if you were buying and selling a house. Right. And I know that given the fact that we know a lot of real estate agents, it tends to be the real estate agent that does it. But I do understand why.
I'm curious as to what this one is.
Offer a friendly welcome. So if you're selling a home, right, that leaving a box of chocolates or a bottle of wine and a letter of useful information about the house to the new owners.
Yeah.
Right. So it could be little things like, the pressure of the shower, if you do this, I can tell you right now, the first thing that I did is I had a shower the first day of moving in here. I was the first one to get in that shower and I was like, how does this thing frickin' work? Because it has one of those...
It took a bit to work it out.
It had one of those big, huge, like sun
The,
ray.
yeah,
I
the
think
big
is what
square,
they call
the
it.
big
Yeah.
square shower heads that
And
just
then
cover a
they
huge
had
area.
the handheld.
Yeah.
And when I turned it on, it was the handheld that shot out at me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And then
And there's no obvious switch on the wall. Like, and if you're in a hotel, there's an
they
obvious
have,
plug or something like
yeah,
that.
they
you
have
pull.
one of
Yeah.
those little pulley
A little
things
lever. Yeah,
out
yeah.
from the actual
So
faucet.
so what this one ended up being was
Because this was a mix. This is a mixed faucet.
mixed faucet. So part of so if you imagine there's always like there's a slide, right? For the handheld one, there's a slide so you can move it up and down, you can adjust.
Yeah.
And so the bracket that holds that to the rail that it slides up and down has a square piece on the front of it. And you twist that square and it swaps it between either the overhead or the handheld.
Or both.
Or both. You can have both at the same time. But the problem is if it sits completely flush, it doesn't look like it's something that's meant to do.
It just looks like the aesthetic of the actual piece. It doesn't look like it's separate.
Yep.
So that's the reason I was standing there. I was like, what the hell? Like, and so I ended up, I'm like, surely there has to be something. So I'm going around and I'm twisting and going, oh, there has to be something. And then I found it. I was like, oh, thank God for that. Because I was just going, how stupid am I going to feel going, I don't know how to use the shower. So those types of things, if there's those little things that you're like, you know what, I can understand if this is going to be a little bit confusing for someone. Little tips on...
You mean like, all the mold in the walls?
Moving on.
In the old place, that is. Not the new one.
So then even like if there's a trusted plumber or a sparky that, you've used over the years, leaving that type of information, even a couple of menus from the local takeaways that you would suggest as well, sort of like welcoming to the neighbourhood so that when it comes to, because there's nothing, like everyone likes to go and, visit and explore the new area that they're moving into if they're not familiar with the area to begin with. It is always nice to have just those little couple of, here's what we've found or here's what we recommend to welcome you into the new area. So that's pretty much covering the top 10. The one thing that I have found from an organisation point of view is definitely make sure that you go through and check as to where you want the furniture to go. Also, understanding that like how long it's going to take. If you've got stairs to go up and down, how much longer are you going to need? Because it's not just a matter of just walking up and down. And
breaks and rest and stuff like that. That's going to be huge. But I think too, there's been so much about
I do have to say this, clean as you go, and I know that drove you insane.
No. I understood why you were doing it. It wasn't an issue. It didn't drive me insane. What it was that I had to work. One of us had to keep working.
Yeah. During
that time, because obviously Checkmate had massive campaigns running, Marketbuy had massive campaigns running. So it was a real, someone had to keep going while someone else was doing the life admin, house prep and everything like that. And so it didn't drive me mental. I was just annoyed that I wasn't able to be a more active participant. Because there's a lot of these things, like I make jokes about the kids and their packing, but had I not had to be, doing 10, 12-hour days with work, I would have been there helping the kids and showing them how to pack, because I take pride in the fact that I can pack like Tetris, so that was all. But I think too, once you get to your new place, explore.
Yes.
It's been so much,
I have lived in this suburb that we're currently in. I have lived here before.
Yeah,
so
I haven't.
I am familiar with the area.
But for me, like that first night where we were all so buggered, we were exhausted, and
since moving back here, there is so many different restaurants that have opened up.
I know.
I'm like hold on,
there was no way we were going and going out for food. We didn't have anything to cook with and stuff like that. And
well, we did. We just didn't know where it was.
We just didn't know where it was because the box wasn't labelled. So we're sitting out. We had the fire. We moved the fire the first night, little solo stove thing fire, and we're sitting out in camp chairs out the back, and we're like, what are we going to eat? And jumped on Uber Eats, and there's just so much choice. Like, we're so close to everything where we are now, and that was awesome. So, I think part of what makes the move less stressful is the excitement of finding the new stuff in the new area. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Plus, the other thing too is if your kids are close enough that they can ride to school or catch the bus or however
I think that
possible,
independence is so good for them.
I would suggest doing it because in that first week or so of being able to unpack and get familiar with the house and get it all organised, it just makes it a lot easier for the kids to adjust to the new swing of things as well. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, those types of things I cannot stress enough. Clean as you go. Make sure you label boxes. Make sure you know where your furniture's going to go. Declutter before, after, and during.
Yeah, and communicate. I think that's the big thing. Like if I look back over the week, every point of friction was as a result of poor communication, right? Or not, like the plan's changing and that change in plan not being communicated.
Yeah.
And I think, you've got to have a plan to start with. And look, I used to be the guy who would give people a hard time for being an organization Nazi and all that kind of stuff.
I'm aware.
And
you would give me a hard time about stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're like, why does it have to go there? And I'm like, because it needs to.
Yeah, but I will never forgive you for putting my clean spoon in the dishwasher as I turn to the freezer to get out the tub of ice cream. Then I'm going to use said spoon to scoop ice cream out of. Like this, no matter how much I come around to this idea of organising,
out and then get your ice cream.
You get the tools you need for the job first, and then you get the material you're going to work on. It's always the way. That's how you do the job. Make sure you got the right tools. First step, always.
It's a tub of ice cream.
Exactly. It's the material you're going to work on with the right tools, unless somebody puts them in the dishwasher when your back is turned.
I like to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, right. And then complain about how many dishes we go through. But yeah, look, I think communicating those plans, having a plan, I think is really super important. Like more important than anything. And look, that plan is going to change because shit happens. Particularly on a big job. I used to have a cricket captain who'd say to me, shit happens on big jobs, and moving house is a big job. So things are going to change. Things, the best laid plans are going to go awry. But just communicate it. Explain the situation. Go, hey, look, this is what I face. And same as what we did with the fridge, right? Like we wanted that fridge upstairs. And it was a case of we're just not going to be able to humanly get it up there without somebody dying. Yeah. We're not going to do it.
And the other thing too is make sure that you also have the ability, if you have the ability, of taking advantage of things that we learnt through COVID. So talking about, meals and stuff like that, if you've got someone that you can go, hey, do you know what would be super helpful? We've already got enough hands to do the job. I know that you're wanting to help. Like you've already offered to help unpack. Do you know what would be huge is if you just had a meal that we could pop into the oven.
Or the microwave.
Yeah. Just so that we can heat it up. It can be done. That would be a massive help. Believe it or not, those types of things, huge.
Look, I do not want to look at what we spent on Uber Eats during that week. Like it is scary.
Yeah.
Just when I think back. And look, in fairness, we were feeding 7 people because 7 people were helping move an office and a house.
At the same time, we were all of us. There
8
wasn't
people at times
there
too.
Wasn't anyone that wasn't knackered.
No, and that's it. Like everyone was shattered at the end of each day. Like everyone put in, and just a big shout out to Steve and Steph and Terry and
yeah, you went to say Bubba, didn't you?
No, I was thinking all the names we got to list off. And even our own kids like Tom, Paxton, Avalon, and that they were massive in their help and all that. But we moved a 6-person home, an office that has 3 companies operating out of it, and
so this 6-person home had 2 living areas, a formal dining and an informal dining, also extra space near the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
also had 2 bathrooms, so an
Five
ensuite.
bedrooms.
5 bedrooms.
Walk-in robe. Built-in robes in every other bedroom.
Built-in robes.
A garage that was 2.25 car garage and 12, 15-foot ceilings.
A decent size laundry as well.
Yep.
So all of this.
An entire strongman gym that's slowly being sold off because I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to go to the gym from now on.
So all of this has been compacted into an older style 5-bedroom. Well, it was originally 3-bedroom that they have.
So it's a good high set.
refurbished.
I love the fact it's on a quarter acre, which is awesome. The trees, the shade,
And
it's so much
there's
cooler.
also, a big shed out the back, so that can take a lot of storage.
And like we're sitting down in the office and like we don't have cameras and stuff like that because we haven't got them set up yet, but we will hopefully for the next step. But if we were in the old place in the podcast room, we'd be sweating right now.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
Shaded.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. No,
It's
it
good.
is
But
good.
no, massive house moved into a slightly smaller house.
Slightly small. It's still big, but it's
it's better. It's functionally it's better for our purposes and our usage and how we use it. But the quarter acre is amazing, and the big trees with the shade is amazing.
The kids have a tire swing now. They can ride around. Literally, there's enough room that they can ride their bikes in the backyard.
But regardless whether you're moving, and upsizing, downsizing, or staying the same, basically for all intents and purposes, we stayed the same in that regard. But it's just a big job.
It is a big job.
Big family, big job.
Yeah. But just make sure, organise, put in a calendar so that everyone is aware as to what is happening on different days, how it's going to work. If you go and organise, it says to organise as soon as you move the last box for cleaners. No, have that organised to say this is the date we have to be out by.
Yeah. That does create stress, the stress of a deadline. But if you create it, if you're organised far enough ahead, you've got enough time.
Yeah, so if you're doing it 3 weeks out where you're like, this is the date that we're handing the keys over. Yeah. Right? This is the date that we're going to have our last box moved. So at least then they can go, sweet, we have, they'll probably tell you we need 2 or 3, how big the house, we'll probably need 2 or 3 days, whatever it may be, in order to make sure that everything is done. If you have a yard, make sure that you have organised for someone to, clean up the yard before the handover is done.
Yeah,
so at least then when, whether it's renting or whether it's selling, at least then when the keys are handed over, it's the case that everything's looking nice and neat.
Yep.
And they don't have to worry about moving into somewhere that needs to have a lawn mowed or, all of that sort of stuff.
all of
done.
that good fun stuff.
If you have that capability. Some people don't have that capability.
Yeah. And skip bins don't take tyres.
If you haven't picked up, he's a little bit annoyed.
I have 100
bamboozled.
have
as to why
150
he was told that he
kilogram
could.
tire. I have a 150 kilogram tire that I used to use for flipping and for cardio training, like with sledgehammers, hitting with sledgehammers as part of my strongman training, right? And with the whole resolution of screw it, I'll just drive to the gym. We don't need this tire anymore. So I hunted around for a skip bin that didn't say no tires, right? On websites and everything like that. Not a problem. So I finally found one. It didn't expressly forbid tires, which every other one did. So therefore, if you're not expressly forbidding it, then that's permission, right? Skip bin rocks up, and on the side of the skip bin is the sign and it says no tires, amongst all the other stuff. So we've still got to figure out a way to get rid of a 150 kilogram tire. So
if there's anyone out there wanting 150,
it's fantastic for flipping, fantastic for hitting with a sledgehammer, or it could make a really nice garden bed. You just need a trailer to pick it up.
Well, look,
it won't fit in the back of the Pajero.
No, it won't. But like I said, worst case scenario, we organise.
We'll go hire a trailer and
we bring it here and we use it as a compost.
Yep. Yeah, we may need to do that. I drove past it today; it's still there, so we definitely have to solve it.
Yeah, right.
I've got inquiries out for people who'll remove it and stuff like that, but no one's getting back to me. So we may have to hire that trailer and.
Man, so close.
So close.
So far.
So close. But that's all right. We'll do something cool with it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Cool.
But yeah, we're all moved in. We've just got a little bit of sorting out to do, but the office is functional. We're able to work. we're able to get
Couches
back.
are going to be delivered.
Couches are being delivered, so the podcast is going to shift from the standing at a table to sitting at a couch, sort of having a convo.
I thought we were going to leave it as a surprise.
Well, I've just ruined the surprise.
You have.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone was on the edge of their seats with that one.
Oh, yeah, they were.
Yeah, but, it'll be good.
It will be.
Yeah, and we'll have cameras up next week.
Yep.
I think the couches, when do the couches arrive? They arrive...
Well, hopefully I'm organising it with them now that we can have it delivered on Wednesday.
That'd be magic. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we only have really one day of not having anywhere to sit.
Yeah, because you sold the other couch.
I sold the last couch today and it's getting picked up tonight.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
actually, you know what was really cathartic in this move? We've talked a lot about the stress points and stuff, but you know what was really, really cathartic?
what?
Hoiking that old 3-seater couch we had.
Because there was no way that it was going to survive.
It was never going to survive. Like this was a couch I had before we got together and moved.
Shout out to our old neighbours.
Yeah.
At Madara Street.
we put it on the front lawn.
Who had a good little laugh.
We put it on the front lawn with a sign free on it, right? And that was all fine. Well, some stuff got taken and has found a new home. The couch, not so much. But then that night, like late that night, it pissed down rain. Yeah. So that meant, okay, couch has now got to go to the tip. So we had to take it to the tip. But our neighbours, before it pissed down rain, they're gone out on the town. They've come home, and I've woken up the next morning to this series of videos of our neighbours sitting on the couch, smashing their late night Maccas after a night out, right?
They were having a hoot.
They were having a great old time. And there's Phil, and he's sitting there, looking like all sophisticated, eating his Maccas with his foot up across his knee and all fancy and everything. And his partner will have him on camera and then start to pan around the street. And next thing you know, Phil's on the other side eating his Maccas as though he's been sitting there the whole time. They send a couple of videos of this, and then the final video is as he goes to go from one seat and the camera starts to pan, you see this shoe come tumbling into shot, right, as the camera's panning, and it gets over to the other side, and there's Phil stumbling to get into the seat in time with his jeans down around his ankles.
He was making himself at home.
Having an absolute blast. It was hilarious. It made our day. It almost made moving worth it. But then the best part, like that was hilarious. And shout out to Phil for that. That was awesome. But also, like, just that couch had done a fantastic tour of duty. I'd had that couch before you and I got together. Mm-hmm. But, as kids growing up do, it had kind of been well loved and well worn.
Look, it gets to a point where you have to go, you know what?
It's time.
Yeah, she's past her prime. She's done her duty.
Yeah, but anytime we had to move that couch, it was a nightmare because it had one of those backs where it was a Velcro upright, so you'd go to move it and grip hold of it, and it'd just bend.
Yeah.
And so it was really hard to grip, and it was really annoying to move. And so in the end, goes to the tip, and I've literally grabbed it. It's a big 3-seater couch, and I've just manhandled the thing off the back of the truck and just hoiked it into the tip and gone, good riddance.
Yep.
Well, so it's now mulch.
Yeah. Well, now we've got a couple of couches, and I had told them that I was going to do a shout out to them.
Who's sent? Because they're new, aren't they? Like we bought them on Marketplace, but they're brand new.
Yeah,
and he's just setting up.
He's just setting up. So Trade Furniture Outlet at Salisbury in Queensland. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. We've got two, because
we've got one for the podcast area and office, and we've got one for upstairs.
Yeah, we have two of the Sorrento, I'm pretty sure it's called.
They're like 3-seater with a chase, and they also fold out into like a double bed or something as well.
Yeah, like it has a little pull out that you can use. I'm just trying to find pictures of it now.
We don't have cameras up, so we can put the pictures elsewhere. But
but it's so that you can make it into a double bed.
Yeah, which will be awesome, and
they're delivering. It's got storage underneath it as well, so they've got it here from $549 each, reduced down from $1,099.
Yeah.
So
you've seen them. I haven't seen them yet. You've seen them, haven't you?
Yeah, I've gone and seen.
What do you reckon? What's the quality like?
If you like a firmer kind of, they're a firmer foam on it, which is good.
Yeah, I like that because I'm a heavy unit. So
not as high as the old 3-seater,
Yeah.
but it does have the chase on it, so you can put
Yeah,
your
I'll be able
legs
to put my
out.
feet up. Yep.
It's got storage underneath, and it turns into a little double bed.
Yeah, I like it. So that's tradefurnitureoutlet.com.au. Mm-hmm. They didn't pay for that ad. It's just they
Did us a good deal.
We bought 2 of them. They've done us a good deal and delivering it for us. And to be honest,
they're only just moving in. While I was there, they were having stock delivered. Pretty sure he was the young guy. I'm really sorry, I can't remember your name. It's been a very traumatic couple. He pretty sure that he's living out of the caravan. That's
out the back. He's set up. He's gone all in on a furniture business. Well done.
He's getting furniture delivered and everything like that, and setting up the showroom. So while I was there was tradies, building said showroom.
Yep. Awesome.
So but really, really good. I found the quality to be decent. So
look, and the whole reason I agreed to give a shout out on the podcast is purely because they're delivering them, and I don't have to deal with that. Look, I'm done moving furniture for at least 12 months.
I don't know if it's still going to be in the packaging, whether it's still going to be in boxes, or whether they're going to be.
As long as they put the upstairs one upstairs and the downstairs one downstairs, I'm happy to build it. That's not a problem. I just don't want to be moving. I don't want to move.
I can't say what they are going to do and what they're not going to do. So
I got to move this stuff. My liver, liver is not going to cope.
Your liver?
Yeah, my liver.
You don't lift with your liver.
No.
You lift with your legs.
No.
Maybe that's the reason why he's got so many back problems. Because he's lifting with his liver.
my liver does the heavy lifting to soothe me after I've had to do the furniture moving.
Right, okay. And on that note, I think we need to wrap it up. So
we've rambled for a while. It's been good to be back and to have a chat, and apologies for the missed episode. For anyone who jumped in for the first time and has stuck it out this far, welcome. Thank you. For anyone who's come back, welcome back. It's always good to have you guys back. I don't know what we're doing next week. We're going to look for some topics, but there's a whole heap going. I think, what could be a really good investigation for us?
What?
If we started looking at the different grants that are currently available and on offer in this financial year, because that friend of ours has just made an offer on that property that we talked about a couple episodes ago, and they're using the first homeowner guarantee with the government and that 2% deposit. So that's pretty exciting. And I think maybe if we just talk about and do an investigation onto what grants are currently on offer and still available from the government. Yeah. No financial advice because we're not qualified to do that.
This is just us
looking at it as laymen and just talking about what is in fact available for the first home buyers out there, because we may have some first home buyers listening in, or we may have the parents of first home buyers who are struggling to get in the market listening in. And this could be some valuable info for people to learn and understand and see, because in some cases, one of these schemes you can get in with a 2% deposit.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sorry, yep.
She's just stood up, walked away. Peace out, peeps. Talk to you next week.